The journey of your growth can be soft and feminine. It can be like blossoming, where you don't push through, instead you allow the gentle movement from within, where you trust your own process and celebrate the little wins, where you breathe deeply and freely, dancing to the song of the wind, where you honor your own cycles and work with your emotions, your energy, and where you're supported by your beautiful sisters, wildflowers creating a harmony. Hi, beautiful queen. Today I would love to talk about this second word of the title of this series, since it's also the second episode and I love to connect things. I also love to think about the symbolism, for example, of the number 2, which is a feminine number, a feminine energy, more magnetic and inwards. And so is the blossoming journey as well. Of course, it's not just inwards, but what you do inside of your own world, inside of your own field, creates and influences what is outside. So it first starts from within. And so this word blossoming, like every other word, has a vibration, has a meaning, has an energy. And the energy of this word makes me feel like, that big breath after you have an energy clearing, or after you arrive to your vacation destination, after you relax, which is something that we can have more often and not just in these instances, these moments that I mentioned. It is this beautiful feminine energy that invites you to gently open up your petals, to take your own time in your own journey, to take your own pace, and not to be influenced by the outside expectations or projections or this fast-paced world that is so masculine and structured and so much about the outer winds. Instead, to celebrate those moments where you showed up for yourself, where you felt your truth, where you spoke your truth, where you have been what is true for your being, right? And this is something that is not often celebrated in our world, right? We're so consumed by metrics, by likes, by goals, by wins, and blossoming, as the word, as the energy, reminds us that it is a journey. It's an unfolding, and like everything in nature, it has its own cycles, but those cycles depend only on you, on your inner world. Flowers are such a beautiful symbol and such beautiful teachers in nature. They're so soft, they're so fragile, yet they rise above and they show up no matter who is passing by, no matter what the weather's like. They're just in their own enjoyment, their own pleasure of being, sharing their beautiful essence and sharing their own colors, right? There's such a diversity in the world of flowers, and it reminds me of the diversity that each woman has, her own uniqueness and her own essence, yet we are similar in so many ways. And that is one of the reasons why I created this channel, to remind us of what we have in common, to bring us together, to help us see that we are not alone. Blossoming is also a symbol for the awakening journey. You will hear more about that throughout this series, because we are opening from our centers to connect with our souls and create a soul-aligned life. often in my meditations that I guide, there comes a symbol of the flower and the channelings, like the symbol of the flower that is this opening of the center of you, which is your heart, which is connected to your soul. And how does this heart open? It doesn't open by you expecting it or telling it. It doesn't open by threats or by like setting goals, right? It doesn't happen in that way. It happens slowly when you feel relaxed, when you feel safe. That's when your heart can open up. So this is a reminder for you to take your own time and to be in spaces that help you relax and take off those protective mechanisms, because heart has so many doors and so many petals that are often closed because we have been hurt in different ways in this lifetime or other lifetimes, and we close that. And when we close that, we do not hear our intuition, we do not hear our truth. We have also learned in our society to numb our emotions. Since we were little girls, we would hear, don't cry. You know, our mothers with their love wouldn't want to see us hurt. So they'll be like, don't cry, you know, which stops you from crying, thinking that there is something wrong with that. When that's such a beautiful process and movement of energies that helps you see what is inside, what has hurt you, helps you clear that out and get clarity, right? We also often hear, don't be angry, you shouldn't be angry. So we learn to suppress our anger and be nice girls and just, you know, stuff our emotions down so that we can think with our head and find our way in this society that is so work-oriented and goal-oriented. In this series, I will talk a lot about our emotions and how they are such a beautiful, necessary thing, and how your sensitivity, even though it's uncomfortable sometimes, and I know this very well as a Cancer, my son is in Cancer and a highly sensitive person. Like since I was a kid, I could feel so much, but I thought there was something wrong with me. So I closed up and I swallowed my feelings, and I would stuff them with food, with sweets, or numb them with projects or scrolling, right? So it is so important to remember that our emotions are beautiful, they are also necessary, and they're a very big part of being a woman. Flower also represents these areas of our lives, right? There are so many petals that we are connected to in this complex world we live in today as women. And it's beautiful to also see them as separated things but connected together and connected to a whole, and how we want all of them to be clear and clean and feel good and healthy, but also that they have their own timing. So at certain stages, certain chapters in your life, you might be focusing more on one area or another. We can't do it all at once, but it is important to look at our castles as queens and to be the leaders of all of those areas and to be the rulers of that. Another reason why I love flowers as symbols is because you will rarely see them alone in nature. So they often grow together in one stem, or they grow in a field, or they make a beautiful bouquet, but they are not solitary beings, spirits. They grow together, and I think this is so important. It has been so important for my journey to see that I don't have to do things alone, and to honor this need to have beautiful sisters, trustworthy and honest and in integrity, and those that can see me and just love me for who I am, and that I can love them back. So creating this beautiful win-win collaboration, co-creation, and that all of us really need a community. And lastly, the reason why this is called Queenlight blossoming is because I see the journey of awakening through the stages of becoming the flower. In this episode, I just wanted to set the tone, to explain a bit more about this feminine energy that we are awakening. I just wish you leave this video feeling more compassionate with your process, more celebrating of what gifts are here in this moment for you now, remembering that it is all happening for a reason and that you cannot be late, that it's all happening in your own divine timing, and that you can allow yourself to soften a bit more, to know that you are safe being in your feminine energy, that you are powerful being in your feminine energy, and that's most natural to you. So maybe journaling or thinking about how you can bring more of that, how you can find more spaces where you can blossom. And in the next episode, I will touch upon the third word or fourth word in this name, Queenlight Blossoming with Vanja, so that you can learn more about me and see who is your guide on this journey and who is walking by your side as also someone who is awakening and healing and being human and divine. Thank you for being here and sending you so much love.